G'day, how are we? After another hiatus, I come bearing good tidings. We have just finished one of the biggest projects I have ever worked on. At the end of the last video, I had finished my small sword, and the handguard for that had a lovely hand chisel engraved section on it. That has got me really interested in the process of hand engraving. As a result, as soon as that project was finished, I started working on a machine that would help me do it. Now, the professionals use a pneumatic-powered hand engraving system, which lets them use a hand engraver in one hand, a free-spinning ball vise in the other. That is what I want. So, first thing I did was try and imagine how I would put that together. With my skills, I thought that a mechanical engraving system would be the best. This is something that has some precedent in a company called Fordom, who uses a hammer system inside their pendulum motors in order to do stuff like bezel setting in rings. So I tried to build my own one of those, and I actually kind of succeeded, but also mostly failed. The result was this thing. It is cumbersome, it is heavy, and I made it way too big, and now it requires a drill to actually run, rather than the Dremel that I was hoping. Which means that I've gone from wanting to go for a one-handed setup back to a two-handed setup because I have to hold the drill. Now, after that I started thinking, what are some other ways that I can do this? And I remembered back to my high school days, I think it's Lenz's law, to do with magnetism. So I thought, what if I send a current through a coil and send a slug of metal forwards? Turns out this already exists, and it's called a solenoid. So I decided I would build one. The wire on this has come slack, but this was the solenoid that I built, and it pretty much didn't work, but it did prove the concept, and that gave us the groundwork for this entire project. So if you're interested in how this turns out, please do give a comment, like, subscribe, so you can follow along and help me feed the algorithm. And without further ado, let's get started. What do we need to get this done? We need our Arduino, a whole bunch of potentiometers and switches, a relay, a buck converter, big old capacitor. And the star of the show, other than the Arduino, is the MOSFET. All those will get an explanation as to what they are, what they do, as we're sort of putting them together. But for now, everything here is what we will need to get the solenoid running. On that note, we have got a better idea than this piece of shit. We will be using actual solenoids. These are push-pull type solenoids. Got a big fat one, a 24-volt one somewhere in the middle, little 12-volt one. That will all get its own explanations in due season. However, from here we can kind of start doing our first little test put together. Oh, and all these will be wired into some perf boards. The brown one can only handle so many amps, so that's going with all the switches and stuff. This one can handle a little bit more, so that will be where we put our solenoids and MOSFET into. There's a bit more detail than I've gone into here. So as we're putting it together, I'll do the full explanation. I should also add, we're going to swap out one of these potentiometers, which will control the frequency, speed, and all that, with this foot pedal so that I can do it hands-free. This will need to be probably chucked into a block of wood or something. We'll jump that hurdle later. I think for now we can test out how it all works with the potentiometers and go from there. Now, while nowhere near as much fun, I should also mention how all this stuff is being powered and how it's coming together. The basic one is we're going to be powering this thing with this giant laptop charger. This is 24-volt 5 amp, which is gonna fry most stuff. We have to be very careful when we're plugging this thing in. That will be connected to all of it through just this 5.5 by 21 millimeter jack, which fits into that. So we're gonna eventually have to put this machine into a box of some sort. And for that, I want it to be attached with these XLR cables. We have ones with 3 pins in it. That will be for the foot pedal eventually. And we also have ones that have 2 in them. Those will be the ones that are connected for the solenoids. Anyway, I'm going to have to learn soldering for this. I've done a little bit of like structural soldering. I've never done it on wires. So this will be interesting. I bought some paraphernalia, which should help the process. So we'll give that a go and start putting this thing together. What you're seeing now is my first attempts at soldering, and I just wanted to take some time to quickly talk about the difficulties that I had while I was learning to solder. Now, there are 2 main things that I really struggled with that ended up wasting a shitload of time. That was, firstly, not using a properly clean soldering tip, and then the second one was taking off components that I'd soldered in. The first one's the big one. To speak to that, what happened was I started soldering, and the first few went quite well until we got a little bit into it, and I could no longer get the solder to heat up to a melting point, And when I managed to finally get it, it would be very difficult to get it to actually make a solid connection between the part and the wire. This, it turns out, is because I think an oxide layer forms on the soldering iron. That oxide does not transfer heat very well, which is what prevented things from heating up enough. It also prevents solder from sticking to the soldering iron, which means it is very difficult to get that solder to properly adhere across all the parts. In order to fix that, I bought this stuff called tip tinner, which I think is a flux mixed with solder. And before I used that, I quickly sanded off the soldering iron to make sure it was nice and clean. Then heat it up, slap it in the tip tinner. That gives you a nice solder layer around the iron. And then it just works so well. I wish I'd figured that out so much earlier. I wasted so many hours, but things are moving way smoother now. What you're seeing right now is me finishing up soldering on the manifold. So this brown board will be where all of the connections that go from the Arduino to the switches and potentiometers enter manifold. This is super important because it means I don't have to rewire the thing every time I need to make an adjustment. And in doing so, it means I'm less likely to make a mistake when I'm rewiring. As a little bonus effect, it also means that the internals of the board are going to be way neater than it was before. Once that was finished, we then moved on to the green board. The green board is super important because that is where all of the core components that allow this thing to run are. The first thing we're soldering up here is one of the 4 circuits that are going to be the heart of the machine. This one in particular is the one that controls the solenoids. The weird black box that is bent off to the side with a little metal piece with a hole drilled through it, that is a MOSFET. These are incredibly important. These will be wired from the ground wire connected to the solenoid and act as a switch. With the Arduino connected to the MOSFET, we'll be able to oscillate that switch on and off really fast, which will mean that we can get the hammer action that we're looking for. So we got our basic circuit working. I am a little annoyed because I had the drain and the source on the MOSFET pins wired in backwards. Rookie mistake, that's all good. I'm now gonna have to change the fan pins up as well because I have them also wired backwards. Unfortunately, I lost a bit of this footage, but the flashing light that you're seeing demonstrates that the MOSFET is working. Next thing I want to do is to plug this thing up to the full 24 volt supply, and with any luck, it won't explode. Okay, we have been having a lot of problems with this circuit. So, a little different than the last time you saw it. I moved some stuff around, but we have been having a lot of fried components. This is a small selection of them. We also have fried 2 MOSFETs so far, and it has been a blight on my existence. I'm thinking that I need to redo this entire circuit board. I was planning on telling you what all this stuff does now, but we are not at a space where I'm kind of happy with the circuitry as yet. So we are going to redo the whole thing on a nicer circuit board with some better wire, and we are going to put in some safety components to help hopefully prevent all of this. Going into this new version of the green board, what you can see circled in green are the core safety components that we added. These will hopefully stop us frying any more components, but I'm not actually going to ever test them, so with any luck, we'll never find out. From here though, we can look in a little more detail about how the MOSFET circuits work. So, we send power from the PSU straight through to the other side of the circuit board. From here, we have our relay plugged in, which will allow us to choose one of the 2 solenoids, but for this demonstration, we'll just say it goes straight to the solenoid. From here, the electricity goes through the solenoid, causes it to slam shut, and then comes back through the solenoid's ground wire. On its path to ground, it comes back to the circuit, and then goes into the middle pin of the MOSFET. Now, from here, it can't actually go anywhere, so the circuit isn't running. The reason it can't go anywhere is because inside the MOSFET, you pretty much have a small open switch. In order to close this switch, we need to send a small electrical voltage from the Arduino into the rightmost pin of the MOSFET, which will trigger the switch to close. From here, electricity can actually run now and the solenoid will actually slam shut. That's more or less how the basics of this circuit work. Like I mentioned prior, we actually have 3 more of these. These control our front and rear fans on the box itself. The last one is for a potential air pump if we find that we need to cool the solenoids in the future. All right, plug in, it's going in there. Now I've got it turned off at the mains to prevent any unwanted arcing. So, moment of truth, almost 50% of the moment of truth. All right, the brick charger is now on. Oh, all right, close my eyes. Oh, okay. That green light there, that red light there, good signs. Nothing seems to have exploded. Okay, I guess the only thing to do now is plug in the Arduino. We're not powering it through its main circuit yet. We're just going to test it with computer. Okay, so we're getting our main screen. Now we can turn it to sharpener. So I alluded to a sharpener just there, and I have just realized that I have not mentioned that. I'll go into more detail about this when it's actually closer to being finished, but we are adding a sharpening jig to this device so that we can make the graver heads that will be used. One of the big problems that I've complained about ad nauseum on this channel is how much I hate graver sharpening. So we're going to nearly eliminate this as a problem. It's going to be so much easier, but we'll get into the details about when I have a few more of the parts put together. Let's do that. Is that working? Something's wrong there. Get back to you. All right, try that again. Oh, that's still happy. Okay, we'll know if it's shitting itself. That's fine. Because I won't touch this, and this will activate. If it activates, I'm going to be very unhappy. I just have to find out though. All right, that's a good sign. This did not activate, which means that this switch here is doing its job and not turning on. That still is reading correctly. Let's turn it into graver mode. We'll turn to graver mode. It's done nothing. It's good. Turn up the power a little bit. Hopefully, if I press this. Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, well, it worked once. Let's just make sure it's not locked in now. Okay. There it is. Oh, okay. I've got it on burst mode. That's why it's doing that. Okay. I think this is on burst. You can see there. It says burst. Single. How the hell do I put it into auto? Oh, well, we'll figure that out later. But that is working. What if we decrease the power a little bit? Because I don't care too much about that. Ramp up the speed all the way. There it is. So I am, every time you see that, I am whacking the pedal down. That is sick. Looks like it's got some gas to it. Holy shit, it's coming together. Alright, so we are just doing a quick little software update. Okie dokie. This is gonna need a little bit more work, but the plan here is when we have the bigger screen, this will show us exactly how we need to sharpen our gravers. The goal here is that when I override the frequency pin, it allows me to have a reference when I start sharpening my gravers. So right now it will hopefully show bevels that I need to cut on the graver heads so that I can get a nice well-shaped graver, hopefully to avoid heel drag and all that fun stuff. But what if I need to then sharpen? Well, I simply flick this. So we're on 90-degree graver at the moment. I simply flick this switch up, and now it will show us that we want these 15-degree heels with a 45-degree face. Main thing is that we can hopefully now check to make sure that everything else here is working. Tested it again. Looks like we had yet another floating ground, so we'll just put these pins back in. Okay, now we've managed to get the next bit of kit working, the motor, which was working perfectly until I added this. It turns out it was RPM on this was a calculated value that actually worked off of how many pulses the Arduino sent the stepper motor. So it needed to check every time to make sure that the right thing was happening. We have fixed that up, and now I just have to hit the pedal
and it spins. I'm going to slow it down. And I turn it, pull the pedal off, click the far right switch, and it now spins in the other direction. Hell yeah, okay, only 3 more things to go.
At this point, we pretty much have everything we need to get really started on finishing up this build. And narratively, I think this is a great way to stop and get ready for the next video. For those concerned, I already have it mostly edited, so you won't have to wait another 6 months for the next one. But again, please do like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date. From here, all I thought I had left to do was to make the box to house it in, finish some other furnishings. Little did I know there was a massive upgrade coming, but you'll have to stay tuned to figure out what that is. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.